A Vermilion Parish teacher was arrested at a school board meeting Monday night after she had the temerity to question the school board giving a raise to the superintendent but not to teachers such as herself, according to a video of the incident. The marshal who handcuffed Deyshia Hargrave and waited with her outside for a patrol car told her she'd be booked with public intimidation. He says he gave her ample opportunities to obey his orders to leave. She says she was leaving and that he arrested her as she was asking him a question. According to Lafayette's KATC TV, Hargrave was booked with remaining after being forbidden and resisting an officer. Jerome Puyau, the superintendent, whose renewed contract and raise Hargrave was protesting, told the news station that the school system didn't want to press charges against her. But that didn't stop Hargrave, who teaches language arts at Rene Rost Middle School, from being processed into jail. Nor did it stop Vermilion Parish's school board and its law enforcement officials from looking like villains. A YouTube video of the incident is 12 minutes and 35 seconds but still doesn't show everything, but what it does show is disturbing. It shows Hargrave respectfully addressing the board, expressing her concern that the people most responsible for the school system's success aren't being rewarded with extra compensation. It shows the board ignoring her concerns and voting the way its members had obviously already decided to vote. It shows Hargrave questioning the board once again and the board chair gaveling her out of order. It shows an officer ordering her out. Eventually she leaves. We don't see what initially happens in the hall. The people inside the meeting suddenly turn in response to a commotion outside, and by the time the person recording everything makes it into the hallway, Hargrave is on the ground, and the officer is on top of her applying handcuffs. There are two major issues to discuss here. The first is the disrespect that publicly elected deliberative bodies routinely show the public. The second is the disrespect that American law enforcement officers routinely show the same people. I don't know who's less tolerant of backtalk, school board members or police, but people in both categories are notorious for throwing their weight around and punishing or attempting to punish people who address them. Black Lives Matter activists have argued that disrespect for and stereotypes about black people have contributed to police wrongly brutalizing and killing suspects. They're not wrong, but racism is just one of American policing's problems, not its only one. Among its problems is the pervasive belief among officers that citizens are supposed to wilt and become totally subservient in their presence. It doesn't take a white officer and a black suspect for that attitude to be expressed. Hargrave, a white woman, was arrested by a black man who says, "Stop resisting," even when Hargrave doesn't appear to be resisting. That's a common complaint about the way that police operate, that officers yell out, "Stop resisting," as a matter of course, in an attempt to justify any rough treatment they might dole out. The arrest in Abbeville is reminiscent of what happened in a Utah emergency room last year. There, a nurse respectfully told the police officer that, because he didn't have a warrant, she couldn't draw blood from an unconscious person involved in a car accident. The officer responds with a show of power, grabbing the nurse and frog marching her out the hospital. That nurse was on much firmer ground than Hargrave. Even so, surely there was a way to escort her out of the room and building without such a display of power. Speaking of power, according to the blog Educate Louisiana, Anthony Fontana, president of the Vermilion Parish School Board, was making a power play by forcing through a renewal of the superintendent's contract. For 2 years, the board had been split 4-4 on that question, and then one of the board members opposed to renewing that contract died. Resisting the call to fill the open seat with the deceased member's spouse, Fontana brought in somebody he could count on to vote the way he wanted him to vote. Fontana told the website Vermilion today that he put in the new board member for that purpose, and then, just when he had the board set up to vote the way he wanted, a teacher raised her hand to object. If teachers were already upset that the superintendent was getting rewarded for their hard work, then the arrest of one of their own after complaining about it is sure to further erode their morale. Jarvis DeBerry is deputy opinions editor for NOLA.com, The Times-Picayune. He can be reached at jdberry@nola.com or at twitter.com/jarvisdberry.